Do you guys like the hair? I went to the barber yesterday and I was like, give me an internet money haircut. He was just like, and I was like, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I don't know if you knew what I was talking about. It looks like my normal haircut, but worse. What's going on today, guys? Massive pushover here, and today we'll be talking about why I sold the Ableton Push 3. This is not a joke. I actually sold my Push 3 to a lucky buyer. I guess you could put lucky in quotations there. The lucky buyer was Sep. Sep from Unison Audio. Thanks, Sep. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with my opinions, and that's fine. You're all entitled to your own opinions. Just want to get that out of the way before I give my opinions. But your opinion's wrong. I have positive experiences as well as criticisms with the Push 3. I have a review that covers some of these issues that I'll link at the end of the video. I'm sure some of you have seen it already. There might be some slight overlap between these two videos. I'm going to start off strong here. The main reason I sold it was workflow. There's a lot of menu diving that you do on the Ableton Push 3 or any of the Ableton pushes, and especially with just hardware in general. But with the Push 3, since it's trying to do so much, since it has nearly a full copy of Ableton within it, you're doing a lot of menu diving in order to do simple as well as advanced things. It's quite a few steps to get to a lot of them, to the point where it's just faster to do it with a mouse and a keyboard, in my opinion. Now, this is both true for the standalone as well as the controller versions, but obviously with the standalone version, you don't have the option to switch into your mouse whenever you like. It really makes me remember why I didn't use my Ableton Push 1 as much, unless I wanted to automate something or just play the pads. I'm not sure why I thought that would change. Overall, it's just a lot faster to work on your computer. Is it as satisfying though? That's debatable. But personally, I'm not sure if I consider menu diving to be all that satisfying, although being able to touch something while you are working, I guess, is satisfying. So it's kind of a trade-off there. One of my biggest criticisms about the Ableton Push 3 is when I used it, it didn't cause me to have a stain on my shirt. Not everyone's going to get that joke. Now, like I said, this is true for a lot of hardware, although I think it's even more so true for the Push 3 because it has nearly a full DAW within it. So there's quite a few functions that are functions within a function. You got to go page to page, page within a page, etc. The funny thing though is that the limitations were also one of my favorite things about it. Now, there's definitely a difference between workflow and limitations, but while it was limited, and I wondered like, why don't I just go do this on the computer? The fact that it was limited was also something I enjoyed a bit. Only being able to work with Ableton devices, Max for Live devices, and samples forced me to make music in a slightly different way than I normally would. Again, something very true of hardware, except for the Max for Live device part, or Ableton device, but you get my point. Definitely a pro and con sort of situation. I kind of feel that's my whole takeaway from the Ableton Push 3. Nothing about it was perfect, nothing about it was completely horrible either. Workflow, didn't quite enjoy. Limitations, I found to be beneficial. Was I enjoying the limitations? Not really certain. It's actually kind of a good thing in my opinion that you couldn't use VSTs on it. Well, A, because of the crash, you'd probably be crashing a lot, but also because, you know, you wouldn't experience the limited type of workflow that could be beneficial to you thinking differently. Now, the price was definitely a contributing factor, but far from the biggest factor. Now, I know it is pretty expensive, $2,000 for the standalone or $1,000 for the controller. You know, it was one of those things where I bought it on a whim. It came out that night. I had been up drinking lots of coffee. You know me, I love my coffee. And I saw it and I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna buy this thing. I'm gonna get a payment plan. Couldn't get the payment plan. I got donated some money. Felt like I had to buy it. I need to buy this thing. I absolutely need to buy this thing. If I had to wait a few days to buy it, I probably wouldn't have bought it. And that's not just because it would have sold out at that point. Again, I didn't know it was gonna sell out when it came out. Also, I sold it for more than I bought it for. Now, does that make me a scalper? I would argue no, because I didn't know it was gonna sell out. And also didn't know I was gonna be able to sell it for more than I paid for it. It just happened that way, okay? So you stop with those allegations. I see the look in your eyes right now. I don't like it. I want none of it. Yeah, I know. Get my finger out of your face. I will when you stop it. And the one other thing I really liked about it, I wasn't able to utilize as much as I thought I'd be able to. The MPE capabilities. Now, I know Ableton has quite a bit of MPE devices as well as MPE patches, but not all of them obviously are MPE compatible. And there's a lot of MPE synths as well too. But I find the biggest issue is that there's just not a lot of presets and sounds ready to go with MPE capabilities. I'm talking about outside of Ableton, VSTs and whatnot. Now obviously this isn't completely a problem with the Push 3 itself, it's more so a problem with the way the world is around the Push 3. There's not a lot of presets being designed for MPE in my opinion, at least in my experience. So a lot of times when I would want to use MPE, I couldn't. Now obviously you can make your own MPE patches, but I mean look at me. I'm spending all my time menu diving as well as making these shitty videos. how do you expect me to design MPE capable synth patches on top of that? Long story short, wasn't able to utilize the MPE capabilities as much as I'd like to. I think eventually though there will be more MPE capabilities and presets going forward, I hope at least, because I do like the idea of MPE. Now I know for most people the limited battery was actually a big issue. For me, I didn't find it to be that big of an issue. I guess I just didn't really take it out of the house very much, and I usually make my beats a lot faster than within 2 to 3 hours. But if we're making like a full track or something, yeah, you know, I probably would need more time than that, but yeah, that personally wasn't a big issue for me. Now, do I have regret in selling it? I did miss some of the limited capabilities of it. I wasn't a big fan of all the menu diving and the workflow, so I wasn't in a rush to sell it. I wasn't in a rush to keep it either, though. I'm still kind of lukewarm on it. I actually have some considerations about buying one again down the road once they work out more of the bugs and add more features, and maybe once MPE is built out more as a concept in terms of them making more presets and patches for it, because I think it's a really good thing. I just don't find there to be a lot of use for it at the moment. Now, if every synth patch had MPE, I think that would have led me more likely to keep this thing. I don't have another MPE controller. That was the only MPE controller I had. Just felt like I didn't get to use it very much. Anyways, for everybody who likes this video, I will sell your MPE controller. If you don't have an MPE controller, I'm going to sell one of your body parts off your body. So hit the like button. If you made it to the end of the video, comment down below. Anyways, if you want to give me more money to make poor financial decisions, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member, or subscribing on Twitch. I'll see you guys next time.
The Band Incorporated.